So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar brought to you by Alibaba.com in partnership with Seller System and DataDive. This is lesson 7 of a free 10 lesson course on discovering trend, sourcing new products, and diversifying your procurement. Is here with me Nick Cooper. Hi, Nick. How's it going?
Hi, Mattia. Hi.
Hi, and we have also Marlene from Seller Systems. So, in the last lessons, we deep dive on how to source on AI. This is an overview of the 5 lessons that we managed in last year. And last week, we had a lesson on advanced product marketing. Today, we will deep dive on mastering negotiation with suppliers. And we will continue the lessons in this quarter till the end of March. So if you missed any of the previous lessons, feel free to scan this QR code. It goes to our YouTube channel, Alibaba.com Buyer Central. Uh, so, Nick, have you ever attended any of these lessons?
I have not. I'm not sure actually why I'm the panelist, just to be clear. Uh,
Okay.
I was supposed to be the attendee, but I'm delighted
Okay.
to be the panelist. Just want to make sure we're, not mixing confusing here, the attendees here. Because
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't sure.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Nick. So we are today talking about master negotiation with supplier, best practices and tools. So I will give you a deep dive on pre-negotiation research, negotiation execution, and final agreement and contract. We Let's start with the pre-negotiation and research. We already had one lesson, lesson number 3 on supplier assessment. So I will go quite fast on this part. Just wanted to remind you that on Alibaba.com, we have 3 different types of suppliers. The first one is what we call the gold supplier. The gold suppliers is any supplier on Alibaba.com that has paid our membership. Our business model is very different from any other e-commerce platform. So to be able to sell on Alibaba.com, a supplier needs to pay a membership fee, and then it will be able to open a storefront, and based on a membership fee, it will be able to be contacted by different buyers from all over the world. We have other 2 level of membership. One is called Verified Supplier, and one is called Verified Supplier Pro. These verified suppliers, I will tell you more later on, are suppliers that have been vetted not only by Alibaba.com, but also by third-party agency like SGS and TU Veritas. Before we start, regarding pre-negotiation, you and supplier assessment, I want you to introduce you to our first AI sourcing engine. Is your personal agent that can support you in any search when it comes to supply, and also will support you in the negotiation, in the pre-negotiation, understanding trends and data, and in the negotiation with suppliers. So Axio is a new platform, so you can. I will also provide you with a QR code with a free membership, but you can go to www.axio.com. Axio means in Latin, bring it to me. So summon. So it is an engine that can support any buyer to find suppliers from all over the world. Let's watch a video on Axio.
Axio, the world's first AI sourcing engine that leverages real-time data to pinpoint winning product ideas and accurately matches you with verified products and suppliers. Visit Axio.com now for product inspiration and the perfect match.
So this is actually the first agent in AI agent in Alibaba ecosystem. Is now was launched last November. Is now available both in the PC version, the laptop version, and in the App Store. So you can look for Axio in the Apple Store, and also in the Google Store, and download the app. So as I mentioned, when it comes to pre-negotiation, it's very important to vet the supplier you're negotiating with. So also always look for the type of membership. The Go Supplier membership is a supplier that has paid the membership fee and is advertising the product on Alibaba.com. All suppliers in Alibaba.com have to pass a business verification. So it's what we call authentication and verification. It's a process that is regulated by law, by the European Commission here in the US, by the US government. So all suppliers to be able to sell on Alibaba.com and in any other marketplace, they need to provide a valid ID, a business registration certificate, an article of incorporation if needed, a letter of authorization, proof of address, and also our business verification agencies will do some due diligence to that if a supplier is a real supplier. Also, when it comes to pre-negotiation, it's very important for you to understand the difference between manufacturing and trading company. I also talk about this during lesson number 3, but it's very important to understand this because a lot of buyers, especially here in the US, always ask me, do I have to deal with a manufacturer or do I need to deal with a trading company? Well, it really depends because if you're looking for production capacity, OEM for top brands, R&D capability, customization option, and also if you're looking, for example, to build your brand and you're looking for larger MIQs, I suggest you to look for a manufacturer. If you are a small company or you're starting your business, or if you're looking for competitive prices and fast delivery and low MOQs, is better you look for a trading company. How do you look for a manufacturer or a trading company on Alibaba.com? In the search bar, in Alibaba.com, you will find 3 tabs on top of a search bar. So you can immediately search by products, by manufacturer, and by regional supply. Always, I remind you that today, Alibaba.com is a global platform, so you can find supply not only from Asian countries, but from 130 countries and regions, also from my home country. From Italy, we have thousands of European sellers and US sellers that are now selling on Alibaba.com. How to find them? You can go to regional supply, but also on the bottom of Alibaba.com, you will find the national flags. We have country pavilions in many parts of the world, for example, from Italy, from France, from Spain. Suppliers, especially in Asia and in Europe, they're also subsidized by local governments. And this enables also the credibility of these suppliers. So you will find, for example, that the French pavilion is powered by the government, by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in France that is selecting and vetting the different suppliers from France. Also, when you are looking in the pre-negotiation for suppliers, always filter the suppliers by trade assurance. The trade assurance, I will tell you in a little bit what it is, but it basically is a way to protect the payment and the delivery for the buyers with easy and safe payment, shipping, and logistics services. You can also vet the supplier based on other buyers' comments and reviews. If you rewatch lesson 3, we deep dive on how to check for the feedbacks, but also the trade assurance gives you after sale protection. Always. We have a partnership with Seller Systems. So all the attendees here, you have a possibility to have a free account manager here in the US that can support if you have any doubts on the pre-negotiation or vetting of a supplier. We have 5 offices here in the US, 1 in New York, 1 in Washington, D.C., 1 in Seattle, 1 in Sunnyvale, in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, and one here in Los Angeles, where I'm based. The trade assurance is open now in China and other Southeast Asian countries, and also it was open in 2024 in the majority of European countries. So yes, you can pay directly and buy products from Europe using the trade assurance. That is an escrow transaction system that allows you a protection pre-sale, on sale, and after sale. If you want to know more about the trade assurance, you can go to our Buyer Central. Just search for Alibaba.com Buyer Central, or if you go to Alibaba.com in the features, you will have a full explanation of what is the trade assurance program on Alibaba.com. So the pre-negotiation is very important to vet and assess the supplier. We talked about this during the previous lessons. And during the negotiation is important to benchmark, so get multiple RFQs for suppliers before finalizing the order. Always underline if it's a bulk order and repeat business. Supplier offers better terms to serious buyers that are looking to build a relationship, a partnership with them. We have tons of private label OEM and ODM manufacturers. So it's very important for you in the pre-negotiation, in the selection of the buyer, to be certain that the suppliers is the right supplier for you. So these are some techniques that I recommend. Work with multiple suppliers to compare pricing and qualities. Always in the price negotiation, remember the cost breakdown: material, labor, overhead cost, and logistic cost. Common pricing models: FOB, EXW, and CIF. Each affect final cost, and I will tell you more what these are. So before finalizing the contract, be really careful to understand and to have a deep knowledge on these terms. Also, in Alibaba.com, we have a glossary where you can find if during the negotiation or your inquiry with the suppliers is asking you and is inserting, is typing these acronyms. Also, leverage price matching, compare quotes for multiple suppliers, as I said, and I will tell you how to do that. A way to compare suppliers, not only from Alibaba.com, but from any B2B suppliers in the world, is now available in Axio. So Axio will give you a variety of supply, not only from Alibaba.com, but also from our partners. We, as you probably know, we are present in Europe also with Europages and WLW. There are a platform, a B2B platform with thousands of European suppliers. We are also partnering with major B2B platform all over the world. Here in the US with Build Direct, in South Korea with EC21, in India with 5to Fashion. So they are horizontal and vertical platforms. We have now hundreds of partners that are supporting us to list millions of products on Axio. And I will tell you more about that. But Axio is not just a search engine, is your personal agent. As I said, we give you also understand of trends, data, and we'll compare the suppliers for you. Why is crucial for any buyer today to use Axio that is powered by our proprietary AI is because today we have listed more than 200 million products on Axio from more than 1 million verified global suppliers. So it's very easy to use Axio and to compare different quotes. As I mentioned, Axio is a proactive guide that generates requirements, give you data, insights, can compare price, and can give you information about certification and the best and the products that are sold in around the world, and especially here in the US. I always say that here in the US, just to give you an idea of the size of Alibaba and its company, we have more than 18 million active clients that every month log in our platform to search, from a small consumer that wants to buy in bulk to large companies, what we call L4 buyers that buy more than $5 million in a year. So Axio can support you in search with real data, not only from data in Alibaba.com. We have 25 years experience, so we have targeted B2B data to support our clients, but also from any data available in the net, and we are define these data also supporting data related to B2B, but also with consumer behavior and social media trends. And this is important when you are in the pre-negotiation phase, because it will enhance your negotiation skills and the selection of the buyer. Also, if you don't know, for example, about certification, if you don't know how to for example, which ingredient or formulation or texture is better for you, Axio can give you some product recommendations. And when it comes to the negotiation part, Axio can really support and streamline negotiation with conversation guidance, real-time summaries, and direct answer about products and suppliers. For example, you have opened an inquiry and multiple suppliers have answered you. You can compare these inquiries and these quotation that you have received thanks to Axio, and thanks to the super comparison tool, that it will not be a super comparison only based on price, but it will be a comparison that is personalized based on your needs and on the terms that you have inserted in the quotation. So as I mentioned, it's very important to know some acronyms that are important in B2B trade. FOB is free on board. The supplier is responsible for delivering goods to the port, handling export custom clearance, and loading them onto the ships. After that, the buyer assumes responsibility. So the cost responsibility, the supplier production packaging, the buyer ocean freight, insurance, import duty, and final delivery is best for buyers who have established a relationship with freight forwarders and want more control on shipping cost. We have also EXW, X works. The buyer takes full responsibility for transporting the goods from the supplier location. The supplier only makes them available at their factory or warehouse. Is the supplier just producing the cost, and the buyer will have to pick up the goods and do all the export custom clearance. And this is best for buyers with strong logistic networks. The third is cost, insurance, and freight. This is usually what our suppliers here in the US ask for. Basically, the supplier is responsible for shipping the goods to the buyer destination port, including the cost of transport and basic insurance. Also, I remind you that if you use our trade assurance and you use our logistic marketplace, but I will tell you more, these terms are very well described. So this is best for buyers who want a simpler process with a supplier managing international shipping. So these are the main differences that you need to know in the pre-negotiation to compare suppliers, to compare the final cost. So if you see these terms in the product page, now you know what they are, and what is important. When it comes to tariffs, I see some questions related to tariff here. It really says who is going to buy the tariff in the United States. Which one should you choose? So FOB is often the most balanced option, gives you control over shipping, but ensure the supplier handle export formalities. EXW is cheapest and supplier level, but requires you to arrange everything else. CIF is hassle-free, but typically more expensive, as supplier markup on the shipping cost. In Alibaba.com, we have our logistic marketplace, and we have also our marketplace for request for quotation. Let's start from the request for quotation. If you don't know the product that you want to buy, the best way to compare quotes is by submitting a request for quotation. For example, you're looking for primary packaging for your beauty brand, and you know what kind of packaging you want, and when is the delivery time, where it should be shipped, and you have some basic information. Now our AI will create a request for quotation for you. It will support you to understand which terms you have to use, which are the different requests that you have to make to our suppliers. And now with the request for quotation, you can also generate images. So you can power your request for quotation with some product ideas that will be sent to our suppliers. You can also ask for how long you want the request for quotation to be on our marketplace and how many requests for quotation you want to receive. So this request for quotation will be posted in our marketplace, and different suppliers will send you directly their best quotation. And here is start the negotiation. So my one of my tip is do not stop with the quotation that you will receive, but compare and ask also our AI tool to compare the quotation based on the parameters that you have inserted. This is a smart way to get the best quotation on Alibaba.com. If you already know which kind of product suppliers you want to negotiate with, you can send directly an inquiry on Alibaba.com. My recommendation is not to take the conversation outside the platform because this is the only way we can ensure and you can also submit a request after using our trade assurance. So keep the conversation on Alibaba.com. Alibaba.com support, thanks to AI, more than 20 languages right now, and use our trade assurance because it's the only way that we can ensure and we can be the third party in your relationship between the supplier and the buyer. There are some negotiation techniques of all that I want to share with you. Always offer future order in exchange for lower unit prices. Use volume-based discount, higher quantity, low equal to lower price per unit. Settle on fixed price contracts to avoid sudden cost increases. Remember that the trade assurance is a contract between the seller and the buyer, but is a payment method. So it will be ensured the payment method. I always remind you that you can submit and you can also have a separate contract with the suppliers. One does not exclude the other. Always confirm pricing in writing to prevent unexpected remarks. Negotiate minimum order quantities, MOQs, request a smaller trial order, and promise future bulk orders. The majority of our suppliers can send you samples Some suppliers give you free samples. Some suppliers ask you to cover the logistic costs. Negotiate batch production combined with other orders. For example, if you're looking for primary packaging and secondary packaging, look for suppliers that can provide both. So in this way, also, if you're looking for low MOQs, the logistic costs will be reduced. Also offers slightly higher per unit price to meet MOQs halfway. One of Alibaba.com technique, as I mentioned, use RFQ to find suppliers willing to work with lower MOQs. So you can indicate in the MOQs that you're looking for lower suppliers. Payment terms and financial flexibility. How does it work if you're familiar with B2B? But I see a lot of small entrepreneurs right now that are attending this webinar. Usually, there are three ways that you can negotiate with a supplier. 100% upfront usually is very risky for buyers. If it is the first order and the supplier asks you for 100% upfront, I strongly recommend you to ask for sample or to negotiate for a 50% deposit and 50% of shipment. This is the standard practice, especially if you're dealing with suppliers from other parts of the world. I always say that in Alibaba.com, you can also filter suppliers by region. We have an increased numbers of suppliers from Mexico and from the United States. So look for local suppliers. And also net 30, 60, 90 days is a common payment term that our supplier usually accept. How to negotiate better payment terms. Ask for extended payment terms. Always start with that one and then go down to the 50 deposit and 50 on shipment. And always use our Alibaba Trade Assurance if this is because in this way your payments will be handled in escrow system, and the money will be sent by Alibaba to the supplier only when the product is in your warehouse and you're satisfied with the products. Sample procurement and quality assurance. We have launched a new program that is called Alibaba Guaranteed. If you filter products by Alibaba Guaranteed, you will see products that do not need a negotiation with a supplier. Usually, Alibaba Guaranteed is used for sampling. So you can still send an inquiry to the suppliers and tell them that you want to use Alibaba Guaranteed. In this way, you can purchase small quantities, low MOQs, and you don't need to negotiate the price because it's very well indicated. Is not only for branded products, but is also private label, and there are some ways with the supplier that you can customize the product. As I mentioned, a lot of our suppliers send free samples, and some suppliers ask to cover the logistic costs. It's important if you're to establish a relationship with the supplier. So remember that the supplier is investing to be present on Alibaba.com. Especially if it's a verified supplier, just to give you an idea, the cost is above $20,000 a year to be a verified supplier on Alibaba.com. So the supplier has all the intention to create a relationship with you. So always be positive in negotiation. Try to understand the cultural barrier if you're dealing, especially with countries that are far away from the United States. And also always compare the sample in bulk. Ask the supplier if the samples are in the same material, in the same texture, and are the same quality of the bulk order that you will purchase with him. This is very important because a lot of his suppliers, as I mentioned, one of the negotiation technique is to change the material and texture to reduce the cost, but also is important when it comes to sampling to be sure that, for example, the color is the same and so on. Trade assurance, I already explained. Always remind that there are some period of a year, especially high demand season or raw material shortages and factory bottleneck that can have an impact on the negotiation. So be sure also to ask the supplier when it is the best time for you to purchase. Maybe in a low season, the price will go down. In Alibaba.com, we have two online trade shows that I have a very high attendance. One is called March Expo, happens every March, where companies and supplier have usually launch new products and buyers, especially retailers, join our March Expo when they're looking to have in their shelves new products, while in September we have our Super September, where our suppliers want to promote their products and buyers are looking to stock up for the holiday season. So if you are not familiar with the March Expo or the Super September, I encourage you to register. We send out information EDMs about the Super September and March Expo to all our customer base. Always use our trade assurance. Alibaba.com does not take any commission on sales. So it's a very different commerce platform from other e-commerce platforms. So be sure to use our trade assurance, especially when it comes to large supply. Handling supplier price increases, locking multi-month pricing contracts, offer bulk purchases upfront in exchange for price stability, and negotiate alternative raw materials with lower costs. Always, in this case, as I said, ask for sampling, and also monitor market trends and currency exchange because it can have an impact. For example, tariffs or currency exchange right now can have a big impact. Communication and relationship building, as I said, this is crucial. A lot of a negotiation go sideways because the communication is not done properly. Always use our chat to communicate with the suppliers. Do not take any conversation outside the platform. Keep track of your conversation. As I mentioned, our AI tool that is in Alibaba.com is called Smart Assistant, can support you to summarize and compare a different conversation. Respect time zone and negotiation styles. When you search for a supplier on Alibaba.com, you can find in their company profile their response time rate. This has a huge impact on the star rating system on Alibaba.com, but also remind you that we are in the US, and if you're looking for suppliers from Asia or from Europe, they are in different time zone. The respect of these, as I mentioned, can create a better relationship with the supplier. Also, something happens like in every business. You can, if you have a strong relationship with suppliers, you can overcome any possible problem that you can encounter. Long-term relationship means better pricing, means access to exclusive product development and more flexible terms with the suppliers. This is my last slide for today, and avoid common negotiation mistakes. Focusing always on price. Price is not only what you see is what you get, but you have to compare, as I said, logistic pricing options. Do not skip the contract details. Use our trade assurance as basic. Do not rush negotiations. If you're looking for a product in 30 days, 45 days, as I mentioned, you can use Alibaba Guaranteed. That is better for you if you're looking for a small quantity. Look for verified suppliers, leverage on our trade assurance, try to use Alibaba Guarantee, and try our new platform, Axio. Axio is your personal agent, so it's a conversational AI agent that learns from your business, from your needs. Now is also available in the App Store, in Google Play, and in App Store. So you can just scan the QR code and you will have access for a free membership on Axio.